Thanks for having me here, Anthony. Um, I know you've been doing a lot of work with like teaching students and stuff, and it's a pleasure to be here today to be able to share some of my personal experience. And personally, I am born and raised in Hong Kong, actually, just like most of you. However, I went to the University of Toronto in Canada for my undergraduate studies, and now I'm actually on my exchange program at the National University of Singapore. So yeah, I'm having a great time. But it's also great to connect with some people in Hong Kong and perhaps speaking with some of you like in the future as well. So I have worked in both of my past two summers. In my first summer, after my first year, I worked at South China Morning Post in Hong Kong and KPMG auditing in Shenzhen. And last summer, it was a short one for me because I had to prepare for my exchange, and the semester here actually starts pretty early. So I worked in an insurtech startup called Yas Micro Insurance, and I have a great time in all of these. I've learned a lot, and I would love to share some of my experience with you all.
Fantastic. I think we will be particularly interested in your experience with KPMG. Um, as some of our students, okay, majority of them are business students, and some of them are actually having accounting as their major. So tell us, what technical skills did you find most essential in your role as an audit intern?
Yeah, for sure. So I think this is a great time for me to clarify that I'm actually not studying in accounting. I am a business student. I study in finance and economics at University of Toronto. So I don't really have an audit background, but after my first year, I don't think like a lot of the people at the firm are looking for really strong technical skills because usually the first year of an undergraduate business program is very general. You'll touch on different topics and learn the basics of management and the different disciplines of business. So for me, I think the technical skills are not super important for an audit intern. Of course, if you are applying for this role in your second year or after your third year, I think that'll be more important. They will look more into your technical skills on top of your soft skills and also your ability to learn. But in my first year, I believe the most essential skills in my role was my soft skills, how to communicate with people, and my ability to learn and learn quickly because they do expect you to, once they have teach you something, they expect you to remember it, and hopefully you'll be able to infer that information and what you have learned to solve even more problems without asking your other managers and associates.
I see. So basically, for an intern, probably accounting or technical skills may not be the most important things. But your social skill, your soft skill, your communication skills, your problem solving, and positive attitude would be even more important, right?
Yes, that's just because, like they are not looking for someone who knows everything already. They know that's not possible. If they will, they're probably looking for someone who has already done full-time audit for a couple of years already. So for an intern, they're trying to shape you to become that person. And so they're willing to teach you, but you do have to be diligent, be willing to learn and focus when they're teaching you so you're not wasting their time.
I see. Um, So as you mentioned, basically you will be doing a lot of interaction and learning from your colleagues, from your supervisors, etc. Did you also work in your client's office?
Yes. So in the first week, I was in my KPMG's Shenzhen office in and that was in one of the, I think it's a, I forgot which building it is, but it's a very modern looking building, sleek looking building. Um and it is located in the Shenzhen's financial center. So during that time, I I was just doing some workshop. They have to teach you some compliance stuff. So make sure that you're not, the basic attitude and responsibility as an auditor. And after that, I spent a couple of days in that office to learn a little bit more about the company that I was that was the client. And after that, the next 7 weeks of my internship was spent at the client's office because as an auditor, you will have a lot of interactions with the clients and trying to work with them to the best of your abilities. And that is usually best achieved if you are at the client's office and being close and in tight proximity.
Yeah. While you are working in the client's office, then you were representing KPMG, and obviously you have to be a real professional working there, right? So, what kind of professional etiquette you can think of that you think your fellow students should learn?
Yeah, honestly, I think there's not much that I can like teach you guys. That was like a while ago, and I think if you're watching this, you're probably more senior than I was like last year. But I think the basic kind of professional ethique that I was focusing on was just make sure that you show up with like a suit, and that is just really immediately gives off a strong first impression. And people will treat you a little bit more seriously, especially as an intern. You don't really have that much experience. You haven't earned like so-called respect in a way that other maybe more senior members of the team have. But having that suit really basically puts your name right next to the other people, especially if some other members of your team um are not as well dressed. That will make you stand out and that will make you be able to learn a little bit more, have more opportunities and achieve your goals better.
Okay. Um, so let's talk about another thing that I think is very important is professional networking. I know you have been very active in Toronto and as well as in Singapore. Um, how important is it for a university student to take part in networking events? And in this kind of networking events, how do you make sure that you're proactive enough, but also professional enough?
Okay, of course, that is a great question. Sometimes it's hard to strike a balance between um achieve getting your goals done, but also not being like too desperate or like pestering the people that are trying to help you. So I think what my approach is to just use your LinkedIn, right? Set up your profile, post like couple of times per month, or if you can like couple of times per week. That will put your name right out there. The algorithm will favor you and more people will see what you have been up to, and that is the best way to maintain connection and find and build new connections. I'm sure a lot of you, actually, I think all of you are using Instagram. And why is that useful? Because when you see someone's story or post, you will be reminded of that person's existence and you will see what they have been up to. And you can also catch up with them basically by like replying to the comment stories or posts. Um, LinkedIn is basically the professional version of like Instagram. And personally, I've found that super useful because you are connecting with a bunch of people who have a lot to teach you and they have resources on opportunities that may be of use to you. So just try to not be too transactional because no one really wants to like the first thing you say in a competition is, can you give me a referral? They're not gonna really be willing to do that most of the time. So you try to build up your profile and connection network early on, and then through time they will see your achievements, see your stories, and slowly but surely you will build your network and you will find the people that you will want to meet, and then after that you will pick a few that you believe might be able to help you, and then you'll reach out to them, maybe have a coffee chat with them, um, either in person or through Zoom, and leave an impression. And when you are applying, you basically like hit them up, say, "Hey, I'm really interested. It's been a pleasure talking to you. I'm really interested in working with your firm and learn more from your team. So, can you just help me out?" Give me, just help, tell the hiring manager, give them my name or something. And usually, if that person likes you enough or you left an impression, they'll be more than happy to do that.
Brilliant. Um, so basically, I think now we have explained that it's important to have good soft skill, communication skill, problem solving, interpersonal skill. It's important to take part in professional networking events and build a professional network. But in order to do that, so university students are still in the process of transitioning from schooling to their early careers, right? Therefore, it's still a time to build this kind of readiness in showing up, speaking up, making meaningful connection with business professionals, business leaders, etc. How are you preparing for that? Like to build your soft skill, build your readiness to reach out, to give a good lasting impression to business professionals that you are making connection to. So, any suggestions to students?
Yeah, of course. Making connections and holding competitions are not really that easy. Like I think we all know that. Especially if you're talking to someone who might be more senior than you, maybe hiring managers and stuff. How do you get them interested instead of just asking the same repetitive questions like how's the weather? How's the company culture? And like what is the work hour? And what's the favorite thing about your job? And those are just questions that everyone asks, and those aren't really gonna make you stand out. But to find questions that actually stand out is like you cannot like memorize like questions. You have to adapt to the scenarios and settings and basically have trust your gut and make an interesting questions that will really catch the other's attention. And to do that, I think it's just through daily practice, right? You just the one thing that's really great about business school is that in class you will get the opportunity to speak up and participate in discussions. That is one way to kind of overcome your fear of speaking in the presence of others, and don't really worry too much about um looking back because everyone is in the same boat, right? No one is gonna laugh at you. Everyone is probably have this anxiety panic attack inside their brain, but they're not gonna say it out loud. But the ones who will be able to capitalize the most on their kind of business school experience is the ones that are willing to take that first steps to contribute and to raise up their hands and share their opinions. And that is one way. A second way is to go to more networking events. Like practice makes perfect. No one makes it like the first time. Like the first time I went to Rotman, that was a U of T's business school. I was in the presence of like 1,000 other freshmen, and my brain just kind of went blank. I don't know what to say to them, but um, yeah, I just kind of stood in the corner holding a sandwich, hopefully hoping that no one is going to notice me. But what I've noticed in the past 2 years is that after you have put yourself out there, going to different events, talking to different people, you do have that confidence. And once you have the confidence, it's about showing your confidence and trusting yourself that you will be able to carry out this competition without having like 10 questions in mind that you're gonna literally ask them. Because yeah, that is how you hold conversations. You listen to what they say and you respond with something that matches their what they have been saying to show your understanding and to progress the conversation. And that is how I've been able to sort of improve my skills is through by practice and by critically thinking how I can continue conversations instead of just sort of memorizing a list of questions. And those are kind of a little bit of advice I can give.
Yeah. So that's why active listening and also paying attention to what people are saying rather than memorizing what you wanted to say would be even more important, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Okay. So one last question. So now you have actually studied and also worked and met with business professionals in multiple locations, like in Hong Kong, in Shenzhen, in Singapore, in Toronto. All of these are, business, city. So basically, I really would like to understand whether you have notice any interesting differences in terms of culture, paces, etc., that you can share with us?
Yeah, absolutely right. I think in Hong Kong and Singapore it's actually very similar. I've been in Singapore for like only a month like around now, but I feel like the vibe people that the kind of vibe that people give off and also the city landscape and the pacing is very similar to Hong Kong. And both are very high performing financial centers. People are locked into their work. They want to make money, and they are willing to be efficient and work hard to achieve their goals. And as for Shenzhen, people are maybe it's just because I was working in audit, people were working long hours. And in Toronto, I think it's a little bit more relaxed. People are willing to spend a little bit more time to themselves or to chat with their colleagues. So I think one way for you to be able to adapt to like this kind of multicultural global environment is to just um, learn a little bit more language, I guess. Because in Shenzhen, I've had great success because like my Mandarin is pretty it's pretty decent, I think. So that was because in my home university, University of Toronto, a lot of the friends that are like, so a lot of my friends are actually mainland Chinese. So I was able to improve my Mandarin skills pretty dramatically. So I was able to talk to sort of my colleagues in Shenzhen pretty well. And that's the same for in Singapore and Toronto. Have your English skills ready, develop, make sure that you are learning every day to get better by basically practicing speaking in English and Mandarin to other people, in addition to Cantonese. And with these three languages, I feel like I was able to have a lot of success, whether it is in like Hong Kong, Singapore, Shenzhen, or Toronto. And that is also you have to be in these places to, of course, like get better at your languages, but to also learn the cultural norms. And those are really hard to explain. You have to explore yourself. But once you are there, you'll be able to get it.
Yeah. In fact, in locations like Hong Kong, Singapore, Toronto, particularly in Hong Kong, there are chances that you can make friends with or make connections with people with a vast different background. Like you obviously there are many mainland Chinese students. There are Hong Kong local students. There are students from Europe, from North America, from South America, from ASEAN country, all over Asia, and even Africa. Therefore, don't limit ourselves to just get close to or stay close to our friends from the same place we came from, and try to make new friends with different cultures.
Yes, definitely. Put yourself out there. Challenge yourself to kind of sort of choose a difficult path in front of you, right? Sometimes it's easier. Like I get this as well, right? Sometimes it's easier to talk to people who speak the same language, who have a similar skin color, or who behaves kind of similarly. But the reason why you're out there in the business world or in the world in general is to try to challenge yourself to explore a little bit more, get to know others who are maybe different. Because in the business world, you will have a lot of opportunities to deal with people who are different from yourselves. And to be able to practice that skill while you're in school is really valuable because you will develop the empathy, the language skills, and the cultural sensitivity that will really drive success for you in the future.
Excellent. So thank you, Anson. We look forward to seeing you back in Hong Kong.
Yep. I look forward to seeing you and also a lot of the students. I would love to connect with you all. Thank you. Have a nice day.
Okay, bye.